The rotary dream is alive. Mazda has just dropped the Vision Coupe concept at the 2025 Tokyo Motor Show, and it's powered by a twin-rotor turbocharged PHEV powertrain pumping out 380 kilowatts, and it's single-handedly reignited hope for another rotary sports car. Perhaps the RX-9? It's all very exciting, but there's one catch. In fact, it's a pretty big catch. So this is it, the Mazda Vision X-Coupe, or Cross Coupe, as Mazda is saying. And wow, it's absolutely stunning in the metal. That sleek, minimalist design language, those flowing lines, the low slung stance, the huge wheels. This is pure Mazda design theatre. Under that very svelte bodywork, you've got a twin-rotor combustion engine. We don't know what size it is, but we do know there's twin rotors. It's also turbocharged, and it's got a battery and a electric motor. Now, it can drive on pure electricity for about 160 kilometers. Mazda reckons when you combine both, you're getting around 800 kilometers, and it should be pretty quick. I reckon just looking at it, it looks fast. So 380 kilowatts, we don't have a torque figure yet, but let's hope it's massive. And here's the kicker. It's a four-door coupe. Practical? Probably. Compromised? Likely, but it's gonna be a bit easier to get in and out of than the old RX-8 and the RX-7 for sure. The question everyone's asking is, will this actually become the RX-9, or is this just another beautiful concept designed to gather dust in Mazda's museum? I, for one, are hoping it's more than just vaporware. But let's rewind for a second. Mazda's rotary journey started 62 years ago when it unveiled the Cosmo prototype at this very motor show back in 1963. Since then, we've had several different rotary-powered vehicles, from the RX-2 to the legendary RX-7 and the final RX-8 that bowed out in 2012. Rotary engines, or Wankels as the nerds call them, are famous for their high-revving character, their compact size and their absolutely addictive power delivery. But they're also notorious for drinking fuel like a teenager at schoolies and producing emissions that would make Greta Thunberg weep. That's where the hybrid system comes in, by pairing that very high-revving, often thirsty rotary engine with a battery and electric motor. You actually have your high performance and your low emissions. So this is potentially a way that Mazda will get around a lot of these very strict emissions regulations that are now coming in force across the globe. Clever? Absolutely. But will it actually happen? Here's where it gets interesting or depressing, depending on your perspective. The CEO and president of Mazda globally, Masahiro Moro, has basically said something like this is probably not going to occur. It's not going to hit production until 2035. That's a decade away. We hope that was just marketing hyperbole and things like that, but we would love to see it a lot sooner. But hey, at least there's still hope that Mazda is going to keep the rotary dream alive. And let's be honest, Mazda has teased us before. Remember the jaw-dropping RX Vision concept from 2015? Or the elegant Vision Coupe from 2017? Both were absolute showstoppers that had rotary fans frothing, and both went absolutely nowhere. So realistically, the Vision Cross Coupe might never see a showroom. It could just be another beautiful concept that previews Mazda's evolving design language and sustainability tech before being filed away under what could have been. But, and this is important, at least they're still talking about rotaries. At least the dream isn't completely dead. There's a couple of other interesting facets to this vehicle as well, and one of them is a new carbon capture technology. We don't exactly know the particulars just yet, but Mazda says it will reveal how it's working on this technology in a race car next month. That's December 2025. So it'll be really interesting to see if this technology is effective and whether it can actually reduce CO2. They're actually saying that you could actually be technically sucking CO2 out of the air with this system. Now, that would be something. The details are still pretty vague. We had a little bit of a run through with the top brass about how it works, but it's very much an embryonic technology. However, Mazda will prove it works in November or December 2025 by racing its Mazda 55 Super Endurance race car equipped with this system. If it actually works, and that's a big if, it could be a game changer, not just for rotaries, but for combustion engines in general. Imagine a world where driving your sports car is actually good for the environment. Well, that's the pitch anyway. Let's talk about what's inside this thing. The cabin continues that minimalist theme with clean lines, premium materials, and presumably loads of tech, though Mazda hasn't revealed the full specifications yet. As we can tell from the images, it's all quite pared back, and it's got a pretty awesome look to it. It's also a 4-seater, which is a departure from traditional 2-seat sports cars, and that gives it more real-world usability, but purists will argue it dilutes the sports car ethos, especially when you've got 4 doors. The design language here is clearly previewing where Mazda's headed with its next generation vehicles. Those proportions, that glass house, the way the roofline flows, honestly, I reckon it looks fantastic. It's modern, but not overwrought, elegant, but not boring, and ultimately, it's a Mazda sports car. So let's address the elephant in the room. Will this vehicle become a new RX model, a new sports car powered by a rotary engine? In my heart of hearts, I feel like it probably won't. Looking at this vehicle, look at that front end, it's got no grille. It kind of feels to me like it could be their next EV. It could be a Tesla Model 3 fighter or something like that. But there's always hope, and the fact they're still talking about rotaries is encouraging. 10 years is an eternity in the car industry. Emissions regulations will be even tighter, electrification will be even more dominant, and the business case for a low-volume rotary sports car will be even harder to justify. But here's what gives me hope. Mazda keeps coming back to this. They keep designing these concepts. They keep investing in rotary technology. They even put it in the MX-30 as a range extender. That tells me the passion is still there in Hiroshima. The engineers still want this. The designers still want this. And most importantly, they know we still want this. Whether corporate bean counters will ever sign off on it, that is another question entirely. So there you have it, the Mazda Vision Cross Coupe, a 380 kilowatt turbocharged twin-rotor plug-in hybrid that represents both everything we love about Mazda and everything frustrating about concept cars. It's gorgeous, it's innovative, it keeps the rotary dream alive, and it's probably never gonna happen. But you know what? At least they're still dreaming. At least they're still designing these incredible machines, and at least they haven't completely abandoned the idea of a halo sports car. Is this the RX-9 we've been waiting for? Maybe not, but it's proof that somewhere in Mazda's headquarters, there are still people fighting to keep the rotary fire burning. And honestly, that's something worth celebrating, even if we have to wait until 2035 for them to pull the trigger. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also don't forget to check out our other videos. We checked out the all-new Toyota Corolla as well, which might change your mind about what different powertrains can do in a sporty little number.